Hey guys, going to start by saying something that a lot of you guys know already, and that is that I read every single comment. So my thinking is, if people are going to be leaving comments on the videos, then the right thing to do is to make sure that we read them all. So I read every single comment. I don't always answer unless my answer will sort of add something to the conversation or give some useful information. So having said that, I do also listen to the comments. So people often give advice or suggestions or requests or whatever, and I do listen. An example of that was, people were telling us for a long time we needed to upgrade our camera, so finally listened and did that. I also hear people saying what they like and what they don't like. People say, a couple of people like the unskilled labourer videos, there's a couple of people like, the how-to videos, and different people have different things. Of course, we have a broad spectrum of viewers, so people like all sorts of videos. The other thing is that our mandate, our self-given mandate, is to make videos about anything and everything about Japan. So because of that, we have a broad spectrum of videos as well. So I do listen. There are some videos that I make people don't like, anything to do with COVID. There's a lot of people don't like that. The myths about Japan videos are unpopular. Some people don't want to hear that things are myths. For whatever reason, they prefer to believe the things that are myths or whatever. I don't know, but there are videos that aren't popular that people say they don't like, and that's okay too. But we're not going to stop making them because our videos are anything and everything about Japan. There's something I haven't mentioned before that I think might help people understand better where our videos are coming from. A couple of things. One is, when I first came to Japan, I had 6 months when I first came. I'd worked pretty hard for like 20 years before I came to Japan, hadn't had a lot of holidays. So when I first came to Japan, I actually had 6 months traveling around Japan on my own. And then finally I settled and I started working, and I was still on my own. I lived alone, and then I did get married, I had kids, right? But I still have a lot of time on my own because of my work and because of a few other things. I spend a fair bit of time on my own. Now, the good thing about that is that when you spend time on your own, as you guys know, you hear more and see more and generally observe more, don't you? Than if you have a buddy sitting beside you and you're talking and you tend to distract each other. Whereas when there's just one person on their own traveling, anybody who's traveled on their own will recognize this, or anybody who's ever sat in a shopping center on their own or sat in a restaurant on their own, you see more and hear more and you just generally observe more, don't you, when you're on your own, right? And so that's my perspective, the way I saw Japan from the beginning. And that's sort of what I'm trying to capture with my videos. So people often send videos to me and say, oh, look at this guy, you should make videos like this guy because this guy makes great videos, and he's really popular. And, yeah, okay, and I'll click on it. And you get this, how do they start? They all start the same way. They all say, what do they say? What's up? They all seem to be really loud. What's up? Right? The videos all seem to, the thumbnails all seem to have their head in it, and it's real personality based, right? Now, that's fine, and it's true. Those videos seem to be super popular on YouTube. I can't stand them. I usually watch, as soon as I get that, hey, what's up thing, hey, look where we are today, that's generally enough for me, right? I usually get about 5 seconds of a video like that, and I've had enough because I know that style of video, right? And for me, I don't like it, right? I don't like it because for me, that's like traveling with a noisy friend. Now, there's nothing wrong with traveling with a noisy friend. If you've got some friend who's really entertaining and funny and interesting and you travel with him, sure, that's going to be interesting, and some people prefer to travel with a friend or a bunch of friends in a group, or do something like that because they find that more interesting and stimulating, right? But the thing is, I don't, right? I'd much prefer, my ideal video has no talking at all, like the shrine and temple and park and videos like that, where I just walk around with the video with the camera and there's no narration and no music, because that's what real life is like, and for me, that's the real experience, is no narration, no explanation, no music, no nothing. For me, that's the ideal video. That's more like what I like to watch. You know, I tend to watch documentaries. The documentaries that I tend to watch are about like history or about, you know, other countries or other things. But generally, there's the only talking really, I think, should be that if it's required to give you information, and that's sort of what I try to do with our videos. Is if there's no explanation required, I don't talk at all. Preferably no background music either, but sometimes if the natural sound is not good, so for example if it's really windy or something like that, sometimes it's better to have some nice background music. Sometimes the video needs some explanation, and in that case I'll give it some narration. Other times it's 100% talking because it's a topic that requires a lot of talking, you know, some, you know, how-to thing or something about Japanese culture or something that I want to talk about. But even then, I'd prefer to sit out in the rice field, so my head takes up one little corner of the video and the rest of it's looking at the rice field. Or something like this where, you know, we're driving along seeing interesting things on the road and my head is just a little square in the corner, you know. And so I do know, you know, sometimes I can do what the people suggest. Someone said recently this week, one of those guys that was making some suggestions, he suggested that I redo some of the old how-to videos. That's not actually a bad idea. I'm going to look at that for a few reasons. One is might have some more information for you on the topics. The other one is, of course, our really old videos were all very small format videos and not real fun to watch. So that was actually a good point, so I might do that. However, a lot of these other things that people suggest I just can't do, you know, because it's just like, it's hard to get enthusiastic about making a video that I wouldn't like to watch myself. You know, the best videos that I can make are the ones where I edit them, and then when I finished editing them and I render them and it's saved, and then I can watch the video and I enjoy watching it, you know. And that, to me, because obviously I want to make videos that our supporters enjoy watching, of course, but it's very hard to get enthusiastic about a video if I don't think it's worth watching. You know what I mean? So I know the formula. You know, people are telling me all the time about the formula. You know, you need to make videos with this and that, and you need, you know, ask provocative comments to get people to answer, make lots of comments, and ask questions so people leave lots of comments, and ask people to like and subscribe, and all the tricks, you know, the tricky thumbnails and the big personality thing. You know, I know the formula, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. You know, it's great that people like those sort of videos, and obviously they're very popular, but there's probably enough of those videos already on YouTube, you know, and I see it that there are some people out there, apparently not a lot, but there are some people out there who like to watch videos like I do, that are minimalist, you know, that just show you Japan. You know, I've always thought Japan is way more interesting than any person. You know, that's why I don't like watching videos that are the personality of the person. Even some documentaries have become like that, where they've got the big personality there, who always seems to be in front of the camera and always seems to be talking, and it sort of becomes almost more about them than it is about that amazing, you know, some amazing place that they are with some amazing history, and they seem to be spending all their time in front of the camera talking. And to me, that's not what I want to watch. If a documentary starts to go in that direction, I usually turn off and go watch something else. You know, so I definitely don't want to make videos like that. You know, so the other thing, of course, is that people seem to think that that's the goal, is to make videos that are more popular, that more people watch. And it's sort of course, you know, it's nice when people watch your videos, but this is why our Patreon and PayPal and Coffee supporters are so important, because it sort of makes us independent. You know, if we rely on YouTube for income, I mean, it's mentioned in a video recently, we calculated that we're averaging 45 cents per video from YouTube. 45 cents a video, right? Not a good income. So really, I'd need to be getting what, 1,000 more viewers, like 1,000 times or 100 times more viewers, to make it worth making a video, you know. And to do that, then you have to do the sellout thing, and you have to do what's popular. You know what I mean? But I don't want to go down that track, and that's why someone talked me into doing the Patreon thing years ago. I used to resist it. No, I don't want to sell out. I don't want to be, I don't want patrons. And the person at the time said, it helps you, it's the people who want you to do what you're doing and support what you're doing. And that's what convinced me to do it, because that's the point. Our patrons and our PayPal supporters pretty much like what we do. I mean, those guys do have their preferences. Our patrons, we have lots of exchanges on Patreon, and our PayPal guys send me emails and things, and we have lots of exchanges, and those guys too, they don't love every video. They'll tell me, I don't really like those videos, or I really like these videos. One guy says, that's the one, they're the ones, when I make a video that he likes, that's the one, he says, more of them. And that's great, and that's natural, isn't it? Is that we all have our preferences, you know what I mean? But overall, in the big picture, that support from patrons and PayPal and Ko-fi gives us the freedom that we don't need 100,000 views on every video. Those guys that do that, go down that track, they need the 100,000 views on YouTube. We don't. Actually, I can't talk about this without asking again. We have actually lost a few patrons recently. We actually lost a couple of bigger ones in the last couple of weeks, which has been pretty painful. So we do need more. So what I'd say to you is this. Your comments are welcome. Your suggestions and comments are welcome. Mostly. I mean, some people are pretty rude. Occasionally we get a really rude comment about our videos, and my suggestion to those people, if you really don't like what we do, really don't like what we do, well, obviously there's better alternatives, there's other alternatives for you on YouTube. You can watch something else on YouTube. You don't have to watch our videos. That's what I'd say to those guys. To the people who are supportive and say keep doing what you're doing, there was a discussion this week where someone was making suggestions, and another person said, no, don't worry about that, just keep doing what you're doing. So people whose thinking is that, if you like what we do and how we do it, pretty much, it's not perfect, I know, and we're always trying to get better, but if generally you like what we do and the way we do it, please consider supporting us on Patreon or PayPal or on Ko-fi, because it's only because of those guys we can do what we do. It's only because of those guys we can be a little bit arrogant and say, no, we don't want to do the hey, what's up videos. We're just going to stick to doing it the way we do it and showing you anything and everything about Japan without having to worry about it being popular. Those guys have to be so careful. They can't afford to make a video that's not popular. They can't afford to have opinions or show topics, talk about topics that aren't popular, because it's all about being popular for those guys. It's really important. For us, it's just not. Fortunately, for us, it's just not important for us to be popular with the mainstream YouTube, viewers. The only people that we really have to keep happy are our supporters, and by and large, our supporters are pretty happy with things the way we do them already. So they allow us to continue doing things the way we do it already, So that's what I'd suggest. Please keep your suggestions and ideas coming. Don't be offended if we don't do what you suggest, because there's this underlying thing where we've got to feel good about what we do and how we do it, in order to stay motivated and interested. I just couldn't do some of the things that people suggest. I just couldn't feel good about doing it. And if I made a video like that at the end of it, here's me, hey, here we are, guys, here we are, in this sushi restaurant, check it out, hey there, Yoshi-kun, I couldn't feel good about a video like that, and not to say there's anything wrong with that. Again, I think if you can understand what I was saying about the traveling alone or traveling in a group, traveling alone or traveling with your noisy, full of energy friend, it just depends what sort of person you are. And I think our style of video is not super popular. Those high energy traveling with a wild crazy mate, those videos are really popular, aren't they? A lot of people like that style of thing. But if you can see what I'm sort of saying about this, is that my goal with our videos is more just to show you what you see, because day to day in Japan, every day in Japan you see something interesting. It's so easy. I can't leave the house without seeing something interesting to show you guys. But it doesn't come with a narration. It doesn't come with a big head in front of it going, "Hey, what's up?" You know, it doesn't come with background music. You know, I just try to capture it and show you guys how it is. You know, and that's what we want to do. So if you support that, if you like that we do that, please consider the PayPal or Patreon or Ko-fi support. There's a thing underneath every video about that. Just make sure I haven't forgotten anything here. Yeah, different people like different things, don't they? Yeah, I do listen. Yeah, enthusiasm. Algorithm, yeah, someone was talking this week, that often people do it. You should do this because it'll catch the algorithm. And again, see, this is what a lot of those really popular guys focus on. They want to hit the things that hit the YouTube algorithm and make their videos blow up and become viral, right? So they go for, you know, they ask you to comment, they ask you to like, they ask you to subscribe, they ask provocative questions and say provocative things to get you to comment, and they want big controversial discussions in the comment section, because all that helps catch the algorithm, see? But again, that's not what we want to focus on, capturing algorithms, you know? Yeah, face in the thumbnail. Yeah, so you know, if you guys understand what I'm saying, and if you support what I'm saying, and generally like what we do, the way we do it, generally always trying to improve, always trying to find interesting things to show you within that frame that I was just describing. So if you like what we do, lost a couple of big patrons in the last week or two, and a couple of PayPal supporters have dropped off as well. So if you haven't supported us already, please, Patreon, PayPal or Ko-fi, have a look at them. The links are in the description. If you're already supporting us, I made a video recently and talked about what are our videos worth to you. So that's an interesting thing, isn't it? If you think about what our videos are worth, one of our supporters actually said this to me. He said, he's talking about how much he pays for Netflix and how much he pays for his other entertainment. And he said, because he's actually quite generous, and he said, you know, his thinking is that our videos are good value to him because he works out how much you know, he's paying us for each video. So that's the question for you: is what do you think our videos are worth to you? You know, is it worth 10 cents? Is each of our videos worth 10 cents? Or is each of our videos worth 50 cents to you? Whatever it is, we make 30 a month. That might give you an idea of what we're worth to you a month, you know. So there are some PayPal, Patreon supporters that, you know, they're on the $2 a month level, which is, you know, that's great. That's great. We appreciate that. That's really good. But $2 a month works out to about, what's that? 7 cents a video. So, you know, if you're on a lower tier there on Patreon and you want to step it up a bit, that'd be appreciated too. So hopefully this got the idea across. Don't want to be ungrateful to the suggestions and other things that people say. I know that most of those suggestions and comments come from a kind place. People are trying to give kind suggestions and kind advice to help us, you know, build a more popular channel. So I know that most of those suggestions, occasionally you get one that's just straight out rude and insulting, but most of them are genuinely trying to help us build a more popular channel, you know, which we really appreciate. But it's not really our focus. It's not really our focus, and because of our Patreon and PayPal and Ko-fi supporters, that's not our focus, which is great, isn't it? It makes us independent. It makes us independent. Actually, just before I go, we also have another channel, we're on another website. We're on Dailymotion, and our videos there actually get almost more views than our YouTube ones do. But most of our Patreon supporters prefer us to be on PayPal, on YouTube. So that's why most of our videos are on YouTube, but we also post them over on Dailymotion as well, and occasionally they blow up over there and they get 20,000 views, which is way more than they get on YouTube. So strange, isn't it? But also, they don't monetize, they don't sell advertising in Japan, yet Dailymotion, so we get nothing out of those videos. It's like 2 cents a month for all the videos combined, so there's no income on them either. But again, it's because of our supporters, doesn't matter. So anyway, that's more than enough of that. Thanks very much, guys. Patreon, PayPal, and Ko-fi, links are underneath the video. Thanks for your suggestions, thanks for your kindness, thanks for watching. More unpopular videos coming soon.